Today I'm going to give you some of the best tips I can think of for dealing with dog reactivity, promoting positive actions, managing a dog's energy, and nurturing their emotional health.
So we're going to start with Zach George. Zach George is known for positive reinforcement dog training, basically treat training. He focuses on mainly on treat training. That's all. That's what I know about him.
A reactive dog is one that displays an exaggerated response to certain triggers, such as other dogs, people, or objects. I have to emphasize that when we're dealing with reactivity, we're dealing with complex animals with very big feelings. I'm going to give you some of the fastest ways I know to achieve success with dog reactivity. First, it's all about mindset. We must go into this with a patient and understanding attitude.
So first of all, I agree. There's so many things that goes on in a dog's mind when they become reactive. Reactivity can be very light, and reactivity can be very severe. So, for example, the examples that he was showing, those are physically, you can see that they are severe. There are reactivities that are not visible in a way. They're very subtle. For example, if a dog is scared of, let's say in this case, horses, for example, it may not show it, but internally is having that battle mentally, and maybe even shutting down after seeing a horse. So reactivity comes in many forms and shapes. Um, just because the dog is physically showing reactivity, it doesn't mean that that's the only way that you can determine if a dog is reactive. So let's see what he's going to talk about, how to deal with reactivity.
So for a dog that exhibits leash reactivity, know that it's going to take time to see progress. Next, address the underlying cause. By understanding the underlying cause of your dog's reactivity, you can tailor your approach to effectively address their specific needs. Let's say you believe your dog's reactivity is because of a lack of socialization. We would want to create opportunities for controlled positive interactions with other dogs and people to help them feel more comfortable in social situations.
One thing that I want to address first is when you see a dog in this situation, in like this, right? So the dog is literally all over the place and is just barking and is going crazy. First of all, that's number one red flag to you that this dog cannot be in an environment like this. You shouldn't bring and put the dog in that situation that gets to that level and then try to fix it. So that's number one that I would say. Based on his explanation that he was saying, understanding the underlying problem, issue. For example, in his case, he's saying the lack of socialization. In my opinion, we don't really need to focus on underlying issue, because what happens is we are spending a lot of time and energy on things that we really don't know. It could be socialization, but could be more than socialization. It's not only one thing. There are many things that can trigger or cause the underlying issue of a dog being reactive. Now, the way you're going to address it is you're going to think of it as making sure that the dog is in well physical and mental health condition. Two, we start building trust. Number three, in my opinion, the reason a dog is reactive is mainly fear. 90% of the time, I would say it's fear. The dog is just afraid of whatever it is. So fear is number one, I would say, underline in a way. But one more thing that I want to mention before we continue, the overall and internal health of a dog is very important as well. If a dog is reactive, I would say 60 to 80% of the time, their gut health, internal health is not healthy either. So that could be one of the reasons why it's causing the dog to develop stress and anxiety and fear and reactivity.
Help them feel more comfortable in social situations. How we do that will vary from dog to dog. Develop a gradual exposure plan. You'll want.
So I would say don't focus on this first. Again, putting the dog in a situation that the dog is not physically, emotionally, mentally not ready. It's a it's a risk that we're taking to put the dog in the presence of other dogs, for example, when it comes to figuring out the problem, which is socialization. And I don't think it's socialization. Overall, what I think is, let's say this dog, I don't know which dog it is, but one of the dogs is lacking social skills and reactive to other dogs. Putting a dog in front of other dog is risky. They may attack, even though they're lacking socialization. They may attack. Maybe this dog physically, emotionally, mentally is not ready to be exposed to this environment. The other thing that I would say is the dog that is reactive has to have one focus, and that one focus should be the dog owner. And the dog, if cannot focus on the one thing, and you offer the dog several things, including environmental stressors such as all other things that you're putting. That's why it's very hard to help this dog, because, for example, if the dog is in this situation, there are so many things going on that the dog cannot focus on one thing. That's why I don't suggest training dogs in an environment or situations that is causing them stress and anxiety, because you're bombarding with information to the dog, and the dog cannot focus on one thing. We want the dog to focus on one thing, and that one thing is the human or the dog owner who can share information at that moment that the dog is overwhelmed with stressors or information. So we want to narrow down all those information that the dog is getting to one source and one place.
Really try to understand your dog's triggers and situations that they struggle with so that you can effectively learn to manage those reactions. This is, again, going to help you achieve a tailored, specific plan for your dog. If your dog is fearful of other dogs, take note of the distance where they start to show anxiety around other dogs. This will help you determine a starting point for your desensitization and counter-conditioning plan, which we'll go over in a second.
So yeah, distance is a good way of starting, or one of the steps of starting to help a reactive dog. But first of all, we have to focus on building that, again, source of information that the dog is going to get. Because again, when we put the dog in a situation like this, we're overwhelming or bombarding the dog with lots of information. So therefore, the dog cannot receive the information that we want it to get. So, for example, you want the dog to stop reacting, right? But the thing is that when you put him in that situation, again, that dog is being overwhelmed with, the boss going, the dogs going, the people are walking, the scents, smells, and sounds that are existing in the environment. All those information, all those triggers are going to override the information that you're writing. So this is not the right place to start helping the dog. This is the place that you come when you have some foundation built with your dog to be able to transform or transfer the information that you have practiced with your dog initially in an environment that has been calm and relaxing, such as your home or your backyard.
So if it's really hard to walk your dog around the neighborhood because they bark at everything that moves, that probably means you need to prioritize significant exercise just before those outings so that your dog has a depleted energy source and is.
I agree. You have to focus on exercise first and foremost to a dog who's reactive, in order to help it first, and second of all, if you're having a hard time walking the dog, exercise the dog first.
More likely to focus on you. Proper fetch training becomes a priority in that situation so that you have a means to get your dog's energy out on your terms and schedule. Next, be prepared.
I agree with that. Playing fetch or playing any game that your dog really loves, it's a great outlet for the dog and a way to refocus the dog to something else or something that is more um, positive and more enjoyable to the dog. So the other stressors do not become the main focus. The game becomes the focus. One of the things that I liked about Zach George was he used to train dogs using mostly play, fetch, and things, games like that. But lately has become heavy user of treats, and this is from his one of the oldest videos, I believe it is. That's why he's still focused on play.
For setbacks, understand that progress is not always linear. Accepting that setbacks are a natural part of the process will help you stay extra resilient and committed to your dog's progress. Counter conditioning, which is a really simple concept, it's where we actually go through the effort to change our dog's emotional response to something that might cause them anxiety. We can actually do that. For example, if you're out on a walk and you see a dog way in the distance, make sure you bring like extra high value treats for those situations. It is completely normal for dogs not to take even really good food if they're over threshold.
So this is the problem that I have when it comes to training dogs using food. So first of all, he says, when you're in a situation like that make sure that you're bringing high value food with you. The problem is that first of all, you're depending on food to get results that most of the time doesn't give you the results. Second of all, in your opinion, let's say cheese is the high value, but then it loses its value after a few times. And then you have to bring steak and to consider that as a high value. And then the high value of the steak goes away, and then you have to kick it up a notch and on and on. You keep going until it's a losing battle. And also, as you said, when dogs are in stressful situation, most of the time, 99.9% of the time, they refuse to take food or eat food or take your treats. And that 0.1% who takes the food at that situation, they will experience that situation as a negative reinforcement because they're stressed, and then you're feeding them treats or food and they're eating and they're saying, okay, food now is a negative experience because I'm experiencing negative thing that is causing me to become stressed, and therefore this food means negative as well. So therefore, anything to do with food or treats can become a negative reinforcer or lose its value completely when it comes to training dogs using food or treats.
Or overwhelmed by a situation. That's why we have a strong emphasis on distance. And over time, we modify those distances accordingly as our dog's emotional state varies. Another good example of counter conditioning, you've seen me do it on my channel several times. Let's take the vacuum cleaner. Before you even turn the vacuum cleaner on, you might touch it, give your dog an amazing treat, and then work up to being able to turn it on for just a.
So let me talk about this part now. So let's say the vacuum is the stressor, right? So if you're feeding treats or food at the time that the dog is not stressed yet, the dog is saying, okay, why am I getting food? Why am I getting fed at this time? First of all. And second of all, when you start using the treat to distract the dog from, let's say, the vacuum, the dog doesn't learn that vacuum means no problem, because the dog is not able to focus on the the process that you're trying to teach. The vacuum becomes a noise in the background where when is matched with the food, it does make a different meaning when the food is not there. It has different meaning. You know what I mean? So when the food is matched with the vacuum, then the dog says, am I focusing on the food, or should I focus on the vacuum, or should I focus in the entire experience? So very confusing for the dog. So whenever you remove the food, now the dog is left with the vacuum and cannot understand what to do and cannot figure out what to do when there is no food. So it's very confusing for the dog. The other thing that I want to mention is that all these dog trainers that you're seeing that are working with dogs, they are like, they're not their personal dogs. They're temporary or dogs, or they're just training at the moment. I would say, this dog, instead of me using treats, I would use my connection that I have with the dog to reward the dog to pay attention to me. And remember, the one thing that we want the dog to focus is us, is the human, the person. And if the dog is overwhelmed with the environment, the vacuum cleaner, and the person and the food, again, there's too many things for the dog to focus on. We want the dog to focus on one thing, which is the human or the dog owner. And if the dog owner cannot be the most valuable thing for the dog to get the information, it's going to lose its focus to other stuff.
Half second. This is all done in one training session a lot of the time. And then gradually being able to work your way up to vacuuming with the thing fully on as you reinforce your dog and move slowly. So counter conditioning like this is really magical. Just be sure to work at your dog's pace. That really is the key. Counter conditioning goes hand in hand with desensitization, which is my next tip. That's where we gradually increase the intensity or the duration of exposure of something that's been challenging for them in the past.
So let me explain this part too. So when it comes to dog training, there is this concept of 3Ds. We call it 3Ds in dog training, which are distance, durations, and distractions. Those 3Ds have to be introduced and exercised and practiced after we have created a foundation for the dog to understand what to do in case something goes wrong. So, for example, if you have a dog who's reactive to other dogs at 6 feet, you have to go and work on it with the dog in a different environment, calm environment, to build the foundation. And then you come back to that situation and you say, okay, now let's see if the dog is going to react. So now we are in a 6 foot distance and the dog is reacting, right? So now that the dog is reacting, can we have some form of connection with the dog that we can share the information that we practiced and taught and trained in our foundation segment in here? Now, if we don't, then we start building the 3Ds, distance, durations, and distractions. And then we work our way in or out from that point. But if we don't have the foundation, none of this is going to work.
We really have a strong emphasis on reinforcing those calm moments. You can see throughout this process how we're balancing the environment with our dog. By controlling your dog's surroundings, you can control how your dog behaves, what they do, and how they feel. And
again, you need to have the foundation built before you get into those details.
Monitor your dog's body language. Understanding their body language is essential for trying to make sense of how they are feeling emotionally.
Yes, body language is very important for you to learn and understand, especially your own dog. You have to learn and understand your dog and read its body language beside its internal and typical language that you communicate with your dog. In my opinion, there is this communication between a dog owner and a dog that is basically between them. They know each other in a way that nobody else knows. But there is a dog body language as well that exists in all dogs, and dog owners must know and study to learn those body language signs.
So that you can address the root cause of their reactivity. For example, if your dog is showing signs of fear, such as flattened ears or a tucked tail, or they're licking their lips, or you're seeing more yawning than you would normally see, these are all signs that your dog may be feeling uncomfortable. This doesn't mean you're doing anything wrong, just take it as information so that you can gain a better understanding of how your dog might be feeling. But some of these body language signals are pretty subtle, so you might be overlooking some. Try to really
Yes, I agree with that, and I think it's a good. These are good points that he shared. Let's go to the next video and next dog trainer. Okay, so next video is from Beckham Training. The only thing that before I watched this video again, I haven't watched these videos before I mention anything, is that I kind of know him. I haven't watched this particular video, but I kind of know him. I know he used to be an animal trainer. You know, animal trainers are different than, again, pet dogs are different. So you can't use the same information that you have as an animal trainer to a pet dog trainer. It's a little bit different. And he approaches same way. I think he's a little bit heavy-handed. He's a family man. He's a good man. But we may disagree in some training ideas. Let's watch.
This is Odin, 2.5-year-old husky. In a minute, you're going to see him go with the white dog right there. This is going to be all original audio except for this first part where I'm going to set up the video. These people have the 2 huskies that you're going to see in this video. Those are their dogs. The rest of the dogs are the board and train and the board and train dogs. So what you're going to see in
So the first problem that I would say is the idea of using board and train. So I believe he does offer this service of board and train. One of my biggest problems is that a dog cannot be trained by anybody else but the dog owner. As a dog owner, you're responsible to train your dog. And if you can't figure out what to do, instead of using board and train service, that it's very profitable and good for the dog trainer, but not profitable or good for the dog owner, because the dog owner has to know how to deal with this problem. They have the responsibility of learning and understanding what the problem is and how to solve it. And you can't rely on other people or other dog trainers to fix your problem, because reality is, dog trainers, I train thousands of dogs, and I could literally change the dog's behavior within few minutes in front of the dog owner and call it a magic trick. The dog owners were amazed. They were surprised to see the dog changes within few minutes with working with me. That's because I am a different energy. It's not that I'm the greatest dog trainer in the world or Beckham is the best. It's just that we are different energy. When a dog experiences a different energy, it starts reacting differently too. And that's when you will see different reaction from the dog, whether it's surprised or whether good behavior. Mostly is like, wow, this human actually is projecting a different energy, which I like. It's clear, is confident, it knows what I need and what I want. So that's why the dog gets like surprised. Whoa, I'm going to connect with this human and experiment this new energy that I have received for the moment. And then, if the dog stays with that dog trainer, for example, for a couple of weeks or a month or whatever it is, yeah, day one, they're going to be the best dog in the world. But day 2 or 3, they're going to start figuring things out and are going to start going back to their real personality and challenge the dog trainer. I would get that as well. And then that's when the dog trainers, they start misusing or abusing the dog because the dog owner is not present and they don't have that personal connection with that dog. So they are not obligated to be kind or gentle to the dog. Not that I'm saying all dog trainers, they're going to abuse your dog, but they're going to use techniques and ideas that they usually won't use on their own personal dogs, but they will use on strangers' dogs, especially the paid ones, because they want to see results within a few weeks. So therefore, they're going to use techniques and methods and tools and ideas that will give them some form of results, but it's just temporary again. The results are temporary. After 2 weeks, you have the problem back again to your home. It may be okay for a few days because, again, the dog has gone through this shock of the change that will come back to your home, and it'll probably do well for a few days and then go back to its natural, normal behavior that it used to have, maybe even worse. So that's one thing I want you to know.
This video is this dog go at that white dog, get a very clear correction, and then start to change instantly. Discipline essentially, quote unquote, fixed this dog for this session. So these guys.
So that's the keyword I see. Discipline change the dog's behavior for this session. It doesn't change forever.
Have to learn this. Okay, they have to learn because they want their dog to be around other dogs like most of you do. Okay, does that mean that they need a constant dog park dog? No, it doesn't. But it'd be nice to walk down the street, let him meet dogs. It'd be nice for friends to come over and them be comfortable. But if he's going at dogs like he goes at this white dog, they can't. Now, is it the worst thing in the world the way he goes at that white English cream retriever? No, it's not. It's not right for dog parks. It's not right to go at your friend's dog like that. None of it's right. The thing with Odin is he just needs to be told that's not right. And he needs it in no uncertain terms. And they need to learn it, and you need to learn it. And here it is in just a minute.
Sit.
Okay, let me watch that one more time.
And they need to learn it, and you need to learn it. And here it is in just a minute.
Okay, so from what I see, it was nothing really major. The dog was just trying to either make a point, like, you're too close to me. Dogs also need to be, from our point of view, they need to be considered that they have thresholds, they have personalities, and they have rules and boundaries and all the good stuff, right, that we humans have. So for example, just imagine this dog is you, and you go to a party and you're attached to another human, and you are forced to hang out with other people that you don't know and or you don't like. And if most cases, if you are not attached to anybody else, you'll just walk away and end the session and end the party, right? Go and celebrate somewhere else. But in cases like this, we are expecting the dogs to behave normal around other dogs, without any reactivity. Think of reactivity as fear. So basically, this dog is either afraid or overwhelmed and afraid from the other dog. That's why he kind of
Or
reacted
that's
in a
not
way.
right. And he needs it in no uncertain
So
terms. And they
I
need to
would say he
understand
didn't do
what
really
it is in just a minute.
anything bad, but
Sit.
the white dog also didn't do anything that would trigger this, right? So I'm guessing, this is my personal opinion, that this dog was afraid that something is going to go wrong. This white dog may be too much for me, maybe too playful. The white dog may be not even aggressive, but maybe too energetic. And here you can see the dog is licking, so that's a sign of stress and anxiety, and the dog is kind of afraid now. So this is what I'm saying. Most of the time, the dog reactivity is based on fear.
Yep, we saw it, and that was not. Don't even look at him.
So, attitude like this, like don't even look at him, uh, don't move, don't say anything. This is like, in my opinion, it's dictatorship. Um, I grew up in a dictatorship situation. That's why I don't like it when people reinforce behaviors and attitudes like this. I'm more into, let the dog make its own decision whether the dog has to figure out if the coast is clear, if it's safe, if I'm safe. How do I know that this dog behind me now is not going to kill me, right? And you can't force a dog to be that cool and calm without understanding these little things, right? And again, understand that this dog does not have any connection with this human, the dog trainer. There's no relationship. So this dog cannot trust this human yet, right? Because they don't have any relationship, right? So him in this situation is the worst case scenario that you can put a dog, because this dog now is surrounded by all these strange dogs. Uh, uh, and this dog, I'm sure he's not neutered as well, so he smells different. This human smells different, and he's very aggressive as well. He smells aggressive. He's stranger. My parents are not doing anything. They're not helping me. They're over there hanging out
Was
there.
not something small. Yeah, exactly. It was not small.
That was very small. That was very small. The other thing I want you to understand, and one of the reasons, for example, I have a problem with my dog training channel and dog training program and dog training uh, overall ideas and philosophy that I share is dog owners want to see big problems, so therefore they can invest in that, either watch a video or come up with a solution, right? So dog trainers, they know this, so therefore they make a big deal of nothing major, right? It's a wrong way of approaching this issue, dog training. I'm sorry that you are, or you have to deal with dog trainers who are not very honest, and they're there either for the money or for fame or just to make themselves feel better about what they're doing. Again, I'm not trying to be mean and attack this individual, but he's putting these videos in public. My videos are in public as well. You can go and criticize my videos as well, my concept as well. I'm open to that. Let talk about it. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what is wrong with my dog training method, so I can learn, so I can improve myself. And also, it's an open concept here. We talk about everything. Once you put your video out there, it's in the hands of public. So I hope this is not sounding like I'm attacking this person, but the concept, the ideology behind it.
It was not really going to hurt the dog. It was a serious, get the hell away from me. And there was a little bite in there. Serious stuff.
That's a perfect example,
Yeah, I would say so. Sit!
So if there was a little bite in there, that is just because we put the wrong dog in the wrong place. And then we start blaming the dog that, you shouldn't be reacting this way. The problem is that when we assume that all dogs should be hanging out together, no problem. It's like putting several people in a room and saying, agree on one thing, be peaceful, don't argue regarding any idea or anything, and just hang out together. It's not possible. Our expectations from our dogs is way high.
Yeah, I would say so. Sit! Yep, I'm listening. Yep.
So now he's yelling at the dog, right? So the dog says, when I'm stressed and I come across a stressful situation, I can't express myself, first of all. I get crap for expressing my feelings and emotions. And then the stressor is still hanging around and I'm still getting crap from a stranger. Just put yourself in that situation and for a moment walk in the dog's paws and see how you feel or how you would feel when it comes to a situation like this.
Prince, leave it. Okay, you want to meet your friend again? Okay. I want him tamped down. I want him more worried about me than he is not worried about him, because he's not really worried. I want him more worried about me than he is wanting to be a punk to him.
So he says, I want the dog to be more worried about me than other dogs. I think what he means is, I want the dog to be focused on me rather than on the dogs. And that's what I'm saying. You have to get to that point that you can, get the dog to focus on you rather than other situations or other stressors. But this human is not the dog's best friend yet. It's a stranger. And the reason this dog is complying now is, as I said before, is because the dog says, whoa, this human is different than my typical human, my normal humans that I live with. He's very aggressive, but clear, and he doesn't joke around, right? And he knows what he's doing. So these are the qualities that you as a dog owner you want to have as well in order to get results.
Now I see a difference. The correction, then the other correction for looking, and then like another correction, 3 corrections, and he's like, this dude's nuts. Hey, this is what you got to become. You got to become me. It's often about the dog. People are always like, it's all the owner, it's all the owner. It's not. Sometimes you got to fix the dog before the owner.
I disagree. It's the dog, first of all, because, we have to understand the dog. Is this dog sensitive about this things. They could be sensitive about dogs as well. Dogs could be sensitive about dogs. We always forget that. It's not objects only that we have to pay attention. It's dogs as well. Dogs, they don't like all other dogs, first of all, right? And second of all, the human can make or break in a way. So I think he says, you have to become me. That's what I mean. You have to have confidence. You have to know what you're supposed to do. You have to have a right energy. You have to be clear. You have to be firm in order for the dog says, you are exactly what I was looking for. So I'm going to focus on you. I'm going to put my 100% focus on you and trust you and believe in you. So therefore, everything else does not mean anything anymore. Those things does not cause me stress anymore, does not cause me fear. So therefore, I can go on with my life. So a human and dog are very connected to the problem. So always remember, a dog has been bred and designed by humans for humans. So we are very in tune with our dogs, and our dogs are very in tune with us, especially after living with us as a human, as a dog owner. They live with us as a dog owner and dog. They get to know us. They start building a special relationship with us, and we can use that to help them not only get over reactivity, but help them to live a healthy, happy life. So therefore, we don't have to deal with reactivity and stress and anxiety in our lives. Both of us can live happily ever after.
I think for you, we got to really get you guys, not that you're doing anything wrong, we got to get you guys being me, because because right now the change is marked. He's like really like, oh my God, this guy.
I don't think the behavior is marked. I don't think the behavior has changed. This is temporary for now. He's shocked. He's surprised. He's overwhelmed. He's scared even more. So that's why he's kind of like, oh, whatever I do, I get crap from humans, including my humans who are standing over there, are not helping and not getting involved with this. Why is this stranger holding the leash? Why is this stranger yanking on my leash and yanking me and giving me crap, and nobody's helping me? So I'm going to comply.
But for example, on the trail when we had this encounter, it happened like that. These people are walking by. He lunges. It's like, hey, you know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, and that's leash reactivity. That's a little different.
Tricky one, yeah.
Like gentle leader.
Yes, that's a leash react. If a dog, he picks on every dog that is walking on the trail, let's say, and the dog is reacting to every dog, that's a different situation. That's as he says, it's a leash reactivity. That has to do, first of all, with the behavior of reactivity becoming a permanent habit for the dog. That this is it has become a habit for me. A bad habit has become a permanent habit. And second of all, in those situations, the dog is not able to focus on the human, is completely disconnected, is completely not aware of what to do and how to live a life. So that's a different issue. That's a different video. That's a different problem.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yeah, and that's leash reactivity. That's a little different.
tricky one, yeah.
Like gentle leader is going to help that 80%. Just one tool that costs $20.
So gentle leader will help to solve the problem 80%. I don't believe in that. I don't think so. A tool cannot fix a behavior. A tool is only good for the time that is being used. So I don't suggest you to rely on tools. instead rely on the relationship that you can make and build with your dog, and hopefully that will encourage you to see good results and build a foundation and then start building on that. I think these two videos were more than enough for today. I will do more videos in like this. If you are interested in videos like this, let me know in the comments area. I will make more videos like this. I'm very excited to be able to share this knowledge and information that I have with you. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you need help, if you want to work with me and you have a reactive dog, or you have a dog who is overwhelming you, I can help you. There's a link in the description. I have few openings for this month. I take in new students, and if you want to be one of my students and live a healthy and happy life with your dog, go ahead and book a free video call. I hope to see you in that video call. And until next time, have fun with your dog.